Rolling. I've had the time of my life, and I've never felt this way before. Never felt, yes, I swear, it's so true. And I owe it all to you. Hey, baby. No sound. Oh my gosh. All right. Sound should be microphone. Built-in camera, yeah. That should be good. I've had, can you guys hear me? The time of my life. They are saying be serious in the chat. Don't joke. Yes, I swear. It's so true. Yes, Benny is here for you. What's up, Benny Wells? How are you? We're live.
Hey, Jay. I'm doing great. You have a lovely singing voice. I didn't know, but I'm not surprised.
That's what my mom told me. My mom said I did.
I'm here to reinforce that for you.
We want reinforcements for the ego zone. Reinforcement, calling in reinforcements for the ego.
That's what I'm here for, among other things.
So Benny had me on his cool podcast a few months ago, maybe around December.
Yep.
And so I have been wanting to return the favor, have Benny back on. And I know that you guys have probably heard of Benny if you've followed Jay's analysis materials that come out, but you may not be too familiar with the man and his ideas, his thoughts, his past. So we're gonna do a little bit of Carl Jung psychoanalysis, a little pee-pee in the poo-poo probing, not really, in terms of Freudian analysis of Benny Wells. So Benny, let's start.
Hey, let's do it.
You are one of the key characters. I don't want to offend your bros in Joy Camp.
Mm-hmm.
Joy Camp was a totally woke comedy sketch troupe. Tell us your journey, if you wouldn't mind. We know that you come from Hollywood. We know that you were A-list soap opera star.
Yeah, right. Sure. So I was born in Hollywood, California, to actor parents, and I grew up in the business. Not fully. I was there until I was 10 years old, and then my family moved to Maryland because my dad had had enough of that business by 1994. So we moved to Maryland. I moved back to California in 1999 and dabbled in acting just for a year or so before going to college, where I got trained to be a theater actor, and I have a degree in theater, a BA in theater, and a master's degree in theater. And then I moved back to LA finally at the age of 25, where I spent the next 8 years and developed Joy Camp, did a lot of commercials, and made some pretty good money, had some good jobs, and then finally got to a point where that was too, it compromised my integrity too much. And after meeting my now fiance, I guess our powers combined gave me the confidence to finally step away from that world once and for all and take a plunge into the great unknown. And it's the best decision I could have made. I'm here talking to you. I'm in Washington State, which is beautiful. Now I travel the world doing poetry. It's pretty cool.
First of all, how'd you get woke to all of the real stuff going on in the world? Was it because you were kind of in that LA scene trying to get work, and that kind of woke you up to how the world really works through Hollywood, or was it independently through researching,
sure,
libertarian politics type stuff, Ron Paul type stuff? What happened?
Definitely not that. That came later. No, it started as a kid. I mean, and looking back on my life, I've always just been drawn to other opinions and perspective. I was a really bad student, and in school, I had a hard time paying attention. I would have definitely been diagnosed with ADD if I were a kid now, because I just didn't care. And I was always skeptical of what I was being taught and why I was being taught it. And I can remember being in second grade, learning about ancient Egypt And that was the first time I remember actually being interested in a subject in school. So turn the page and we see the pyramids and the Sphinx, and I was blown away. I'd never seen anything like it before, and I wanted to know what I was looking at. And I felt that the explanation was insufficient, and I thought we'd moved past it too quickly. And I even said at that moment I wanted to be an archaeologist so I could go to Egypt and study the pyramids firsthand.
They took the stones from here.
And then I remember learning about JFK, maybe like a year later. And of course, since he died before I was born, I learned about his assassination. And then as a footnote, they said, oh, yeah, and by the way, there's a conspiracy about this, and it may not have been this guy, Lee Harvey Oswald, after all, and yada,
You
yada.
actually came in through the boomer pathway of conspiracy. Most boomers come in through the JFK tier.
Yeah, well, I have noticed a lot of boomers who are awake about JFK are not awake about subjects now,
Right.
and they get mad at me. Actually, I've actually been pretty attacked verbally from a couple boomers saying that I'm muddying the waters with my conspiracies because people like them with JFK. Like, I've had arguments like this, but anyway, so that was it. So I wanted the perspective. I was like, whoa, 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 whoa! You're gonna tell me that there's an alternative theory and we're not gonna talk about it? Like, I want to know about that. So I've always just been drawn to perspective, and I've never been offended by information, and it's just always kept up that way. And so I was anti-war. I mean, just instinctually. And when 9/11 happened, and the response to 9/11 was so obviously not the right. Oh, there's a wasp. Whoa!
Get him on camera. Interview him. Ask him.
He was right here. Interview him. Who do you work for?
Are you a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant allied with the Jew lobby? What are you doing?
Yeah, exactly.
The wasp.
He left. No, he's gone. He's gone.
Hopefully
he's gone forever. Anyway, I knew that something was up on that fateful day in September. I knew that it was fishy immediately. And then I think it was in 2004 when videos started emerging online because there was no YouTube back then. So finally, when YouTube or like video platforms emerged in 2004, it was exactly what I needed. And I've been tumbling ever since. And that's kind of it. I mean, it's been a lifelong thing.
Did you not get my wasp joke?
I sort of got it.
It's okay. I still love you. When you mentioned the pyramids, did you go through like the Graham Hancock phase? I had a Graham Hancock phase where I bought his pyramid book. You know what I'm talking
about? Fingerprints of the Gods?
Yeah.
What do you mean? What did I?
Did you ever read that? Did you ever? I mean, I thought he actually had some interesting points, like about the Reyes map and that kind of stuff.
And I'm not sold on anything I've heard about the pyramids yet. I still feel like the explanations are insufficient.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell if it was utilized, if it was originally utilized for something good or something nefarious. If it was something that was active and is now inactive, what's inside of it, what's inside the Sphinx. Because I was actually more drawn to the Sphinx than I was the pyramids. And you see those
like in that you think he's hot, or what do you mean?
In that it was just such a strange thing, and you see like the hieroglyphics where that looks like it's been cut in half, and you can kind of see what's going on inside, and the fact that no one's allowed inside now, and I'm still just trying to figure
all the
out.
Sphinx was the furries of ancient Egypt. That was just some royal elite into being a furry, dressing up like a whatever that is.
Yeah.
Well, not really, but
anyway,
I was going somewhere with it. I had a question about. Yeah, I don't think that they're like some kind of weapon or something. I would class that as the pyramidiate worldview, where you think that the pyramids are a ancient weapon. That is a view, by the way.
Yeah, no. Well, there's something. I mean, the idea that there's some kind of worldwide grid, is compelling to me.
That is interesting.
They do find these other pyramids all over the place, and I mean, we don't even know how many there are that we haven't found, or that are being hidden and whatnot. Right. So,
have you seen that there's even pyramids in like Eastern Europe, weird places you wouldn't expect?
Yeah. Well, isn't that the biggest pyramid in the world is in? Oh man, where is it? Do you know what I'm talking about? I don't want to get it wrong. It's in one of those Eastern European countries, and they thought it was a mountain, and it's actually a pyramid, just like in Mexico. Anyway, so and then of course the pyramid is the most popular symbol of the hidden hand, and it's just very compelling.
Good point. Real quick though, I am going to mention. So Benny is joining me, and I want to tell everybody Benny is not continuing at this point doing Joy Camp. So he has his own channel, and I'm going to add that right now to the chat as well as to the show description. So if you want to support Benny, there is his channel there. And then in the show description, I will add I've got too many windows open here. I'll add the link there too. But all right, so you're looking at these pyramids, you're getting boners, you're deciding that there's something going on behind all these pyramids, and you want to know what it is, and you checked out Graham Hancock. No, I know that was really stupid. I know, but that's how we do it around here, dude.
I get it, man. I'm in it. That's why I'm laughing, because
we go wild here.
Sonia handed me a smoothie with a straw, like that.
Woo! I hope that's not a plastic straw. It looks like a proper.
It is plastic. No, it is plastic. I admit. We're in Washington, so it's not as bad.
I thought it was bad. Am I thinking of Oregon?
Oh man, am I breaking the law right now?
I don't know.
I might be. There's so many laws these days.
So okay, so wait a minute. I've always wanted to ask you this too, and I never did on our last chat. Did you ever do like the actual stand up?
No, I didn't. I always had aspirations to do it, and I always wanted to, and then it never ended up coming to fruition. And now what I'm doing is sort of like stand up, and I'm actually, it's funny. I was just thinking about this the other day because I did want to do stand up a lot, especially as a teenager. And now that I'm doing what I'm doing, it's satisfying that urge, and I'm much happier doing this than going up there and, I don't having to construct jokes specifically.
Right.
So it's the best of both worlds.
So you had done theater and that kind of stuff, but what?
Oh, yeah.
Like, when did you decide? Well, how did Joy Camp come about first? Because I remember a long time ago, I was watching you guys clips, and I remember at the time I was like, man, there's actually dudes that do woke comedy. I'd like to meet these guys. Here, I've met you many years later. But how did Joy Camp come about?
Joy Camp came about from years of trying to figure out how to contribute. I mean, Kevin, who created Joy Camp with me, and we have known each other now for, 17 years, I think, a long time. And we started off in community college together, and then we transferred to San Francisco State College together. And we started watching the same conspiratorial videos together. So we woke up at the same time.
I see.
And it's at that, looking back, especially, what a gift that is to have somebody to go through all that with you. So we constantly had each other to bounce off all these crazy ideas with. And we knew that we had to do something. We just didn't know what it was. So we started off being activists. We started going to like We Are Change LA, and we go to protests, and we hand out DVDs. And it didn't feel right for me and for us. It just wasn't a good fit. And I thought I could do better than this for me. So meanwhile to that, I was studying to be an actor. I mean, I was putting so much time and energy and money into that pursuit of a lifelong dream. And Kevin, meanwhile, was an aspiring filmmaker and writer, constantly making videos. And we make videos, they just weren't anything to do with truth. And he was sharpening his editing skills all the time. We just never realized that we could combine the two until 2012, when we made a video called Conspiracy Theorist PSA for fun. We did it as a one-off. And after we did it, we filmed it, we edited it, and we watched it back, and we were like, wait a minute, this actually could be pretty significant. This could be our contribution, because there's a serious lack of humor in the alternative world. So we thought, gosh, we could theoretically, potentially be those guys. And so we just embarked on it. We just went into it fully, completely as roommates in LA. So we had a lot of time to do it.
And was it you and him, or was there three dudes?
Well, we started, the two of us started it, and then we recruited our friends immediately, so we could have our other talented friends who would want to be on board, and it just we just launched into it. So for a couple of years there, we were living together. All of 2012, we were both single, so we had a lot of free time, and for a couple of years there, we made a lot of videos, and we really hit a stride, and we did it consistently for about 3 years, and then it started to taper off a bit. And I think we still will do some Joy Camp videos when we see each other. In fact, I'm meeting up with Kevin and our other friend Tony next weekend in LA, and we have a video idea in mind. So there will be Joy Camp. It's just going to be infrequent.
So was there 3 guys or 4 guys?
I'd say there were 5 guys.
Oh, okay.
Who you see most often in the videos, and there's other people that come in for 1 or 2 or 3, but there's like 5 guys you'll see, consistently in Joy Camp videos.
So the first one I saw was where the little girl is the princess and she's talking. That one, that one really cracked me up. I was like, wow, these guys actually are talented. This is a good one. I'm gonna put that in the description, by the way. It's
cool.
So you guys had made a few, and were they getting good traction immediately on YouTube? I know YouTube has basically kind of killed a lot of things with all the algorithm changes. You have to kind of constantly update your model of how you do stuff. But
tell me about it. Yeah, they did. I mean, so after we filmed that first one, we decided to make a launch out of it. So we didn't release that right away. We set a goal of 6. We wanted 6 videos in the can before we made them public, and that one, Princess Intervention, was one of them. And we just hit it hard. We started sending the videos out to everybody who we admired, basically, at that point, people whose channels we followed, whose work we liked, and just tried to get them in circulation. And they did. They went pretty well. I mean, we never really found the stride with YouTube that we had hoped, and I think that's mainly because we were not that consistent at any point. We always put quality over the quantity because it was such they were so detailed, so edited, so precisely. It would take weeks to edit a video in some cases. So we never really found that momentum of releasing.
Well, that's the model, right? YouTube moved to the model where they wanted people on the constant sort of churning out treadmill, which is what I do, where you have to constantly do it. So that has been a big change. You're right, because I mean, you have some of those older videos you guys did have hundreds of thousands of views. You got a shit ton of views.
Yeah. We definitely had some that went got pretty popular, and all of those well, not all the original 6, but maybe 4 out of 6 did really well for us. And yeah, as the production slowed down, we never really were able to capture the same momentum that we did a couple of years ago. If we release a video now, it's once every 6 months or so, and it's like starting from scratch. It's so hard to get people to see it, and it's a bit frustrating. But it is what it is, and luckily the videos I think are pretty timeless, so they're all there.
When I met you, I watched Kill Switch, your trailer or your pilot that was pitched, and tell us about that. Because I thought it was really creative, really genius the way each scene tied in. And you were talking about how long it took to shoot that and put it all together. It's pretty brilliant. Having had a show that did 1 season and then get renewed, and then a different show that didn't get bought, I now understand that anything that's considered too cerebral or too smart doesn't do too well. And I think you learned that before I did. Yeah,
well, that ended up, and especially now looking back on it, that was the culmination of Joy Camp.
Right.
Because we did the videos up until, when was that? So I guess it was 2014 or maybe the beginning of 2015 when we got discovered by a producer in LA, and he loved it. He loved the channel. He loved our videos, and he was pretty alternative minded leaning, and he wanted to produce this pilot so that we could make it we could be on mainstream television. Because at that time, conspiracy wasn't as taboo as it is now. It wasn't as now it's synonymous with dangerous, which it wasn't then. That was the same year that Mr. Robot was really popular. In fact, we pitched the show as being Mr. Show meets Mr. Robot.
Right. It was Mr. Show, though, especially the way each sequence tied to the next. I thought that was great.
And now, granted, the show didn't get picked up, but I think it would even have less of a chance now than it did 4 years ago. So we spent, gosh, oh my gosh, 6 months planning it, and then we spent about a month filming it, and then months, 3 to 4 months editing it. So it was a full year that it took to produce a 15-minute, pilot presentation, and it really wore us out, to be honest. Like it definitely put a strain on Joy Camp, and the product was really good at the end, but even by the time we were able to upload it to YouTube, we were so burnt out on it. We didn't push it that hard. I mean, it has about 20,000 views, I think, but it never really got the attention that I think it deserved. But it is really good, and we pitched it all over LA, and it was received really well. I mean, everybody who saw it, you could see that when we go into these meetings with people like where AMC and FX and Comedy Central, MTV, all these places, they would be sitting down with us, and in the beginning of the meeting, you could tell they were just taking the meeting. They were being polite and whatever. But then we sit there and watch it with them, and everybody perked up down the line every single time. Like nobody disliked the pilot, but people were kind of confused by it.
Yeah.
And they, I guess, kept saying things like, gosh, like, who's the audience? What are you targeting? Like, how do we, you can see that the gears were turning, but no one really knew how to sell it. And a few people told us, we love your guys' aesthetic and your vibe and the look of it all. Would you be open to doing something else for us? And at first I was like, yeah, we can do that. And then I go home and I'm like, my heart's not in that. I don't know. I don't really care to accommodate someone else's desires within this business. So
would you be willing to stay on stage and basically just recite the entire Eddie Murphy Raw routine? I could see you. Did you think about Adult Swim? Because around 2012 was, Tim and Eric were still popular, and then that was probably around the height of their popularity. And then Sam Hyde was about to be signed on to Adult Swim with $1 Million Extreme. I'm just wondering, because the style of y'all show was a little quirky in that Adult Swim way.
We reached out to Adult Swim and they weren't interested. We didn't even get a meeting with them, so we tried. We tried. I mean, we reached out because we had a manager for a minute who was pitching us all over the place, and it was an exciting couple of months. Ultimately led to nothing, and it was at that point that I left LA. I took like 2 months off. I went to Spain and sort of collected myself and got a lot of clarity being away from Los Angeles and away from even America for a couple of months. I was on a really like remote location in Spain and I found my way there randomly, but gave me a lot of time to like process and evaluate my life. And that's when I made the decision that I had to leave LA. Was when I was away, and it was right after the pilot had sort of flopped, and best decision I could have made. I mean, there was really profound, and took me another 1.5 years to get out of there, but I'm really glad that I'm not dealing with that business anymore. And, I'm glad that Joy Camp produced so much good quality content, and it's cool that people can still find it.
So, and one last question about that was did you write, who was it like, did you guys have all your own writing done too, or did you have somebody else come in and write and you guys performed, or was it just you five guys?
Just us. And I was the primary writer of all of it, everything since the beginning. Some of the stuff we did was word for word what I wrote, but a lot of the time I come up with a script, and then when we would film, like, we leave a lot of, open to the people involved to, improv and have fun. And that's where we came up with the best stuff. I could basically like come up with a rubric to play from, and then we would just have fun. And I think that our best videos are when we're all like doing that.
I want to remind the audience, I have a famous fucking person here, and you better give me your super chats because he's full of fame. This is a famous Hollywood person. Why are you not giving super chats?
I never made it that far in Hollywood, but that's okay.
You did. Tell them you did.
Well, I have some credits.
Tristan says, if you had put the pee-pee in the poo-poo, would you have got signed?
Well, probably, unfortunately. As a kid, I just mentioned this during a performance the other day because they brought up the whole Epstein thing, and I was a child actor, and
Right.
luckily, I never dealt with anything like that. But had I been more successful, because I think that I mean, not looking back again, I think I was really perhaps protected from some other force.
I was about to ask you, yeah.
But I was always too tall as a child actor, so I would get called back. I mean, I was up for roles in I was up for the youngest brother in Home Improvement when I was a kid. Up for the role of the son in Beethoven. A River Runs Through It. Like I was up for a lot of stuff, and I'd get called back, but I was always too tall. I was 8 to 10 years old, but I always looked older because I was tall. And child actors are always very short.
You could have starred in the Lifetime TV movie of Young Manute Bull.
I wish I could have. Yeah, Young Manute.
Young Yao Ming. Young Yao Ming.
But I feel like I was spared because here, for instance, my agent when I was a kid represented this kid named Brian Bonsall, and he was the one that we all had to aspire to be like when I was a kid. And Brian Bonsall, if anyone remembers him, he was the kid from the movie Blank Check in the early '90s. He was also the little kid on the Cosby Show, the Family Ties with Michael J. Fox, and he was a legitimately famous child actor. And we were represented by the same agent, and we all had to try to be like Brian. He was the one we looked up to, and we wanted to be like Brian. And of course, he was very famous. I dabbled. I mean, I probably had 5 or 6 professional credits as a kid. But then my family left LA when I was 10. And then Brian Bonsall disappeared. And if you look what happened to him a couple of years ago, the guy went he hit rock bottom. I mean, and it's pretty clear that something happened to him as a kid because he's a mess. He was a drug addict. He got arrested for hitting a guy with a pool cue at a bar, I think, in Colorado. He has a big butterfly tattoo on his throat, as well as other tattoos on his face. I mean, the guy just looks messed up. And, knowing what we know about Hollywood and pedophilia, I mean, you just put 2 and 2 together. And so it's ironic to me that as a kid, he was the one who was like, I wish I had Brian's career.
Mm-hmm.
But now as an adult, I'm like, whew, I'm really glad I have my adult life. And I don't have that in my background.
Right.
How lucky.
I'm going to try to do a screen share because somebody did find that image of you in one of the soap operas.
Oh, wow. I was on 3 episodes of Passions when I was in high school. I played Wally, the street punk.
Right. Why is the screen share not working? I've done this before.
I'm being protected once again. Looks like. Yeah,
they don't want me showing the truth.
I'll happily show people that. I'm a little more pudgy in the cheeks.
I had a good joke, and it's not working. But I was going to show that. Do you remember the little kid that was like the weirdo, and he played the possessed doll?
Timmy.
Yeah, I was going to show Timmy and say that was you.
Well, it's funny because he's the character who I had all my scenes with on the show.
I know, right?
And he came up to my kneecap. The kid was so small, and he was older than me, and he died like a few months after we were done filming.
Oh, sorry.
Well, it was one of those things where they told us that our characters might come back because we get arrested at the end of our 3rd episode, but we flee. So we break free from the cops and we get away, and we might come back, but he died, and our potential storyline was stifled as a result.
I'm trying to show the clip, but I can't get it to work anyway. But,
that's okay.
you played the thug, right? You're the older thug.
I played Wally, the street punk. Yeah,
the
thug. Yeah.
I guess they're doing away with Hangouts on there. Maybe that's why you can't do the screen share anymore. Anyway, so you and you told me can you talk about you said you hung out on the set of that 70s?
I did. Here, it's starting to drizzle a little bit. I don't know, my computer gets to it. I'm just gonna move everything to the left. Just bear with me for a sec.
He's going liberal, y'all. He's going liberal.
No.
Left.
That should help. All right, there we go. I am not going left in that way. Yes, I used to hang out on that 70 show set quite a bit. That's true. My yeah, yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how to say it best because I don't want to get my friends in trouble. But
Well, that's fine.
Well, just being polite. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter. No, I don't want to seem shady, so I'm transparent. My dad is friends with the guy who played Red on the show, Kurtwood. He's a family friend. Has been my whole life. I even worked for him as a part-time assistant for a couple of years, and he's also proof that not everybody's in on it in Hollywood. I mean, I used to talk to him about stuff and ask him questions about, the dark underbelly, and he was blissfully unaware. But that aside, when my family first moved back to Southern California in 1999, and I was 15, and because he was a family friend, while my parents were moving the moving truck across country, I stayed with him at his house. So I was on set for that 70 show. First episode I was on set for was the season premiere of season 2, right before it became like a huge hit. So all of them weren't famous yet. They were like just starting to get some notice. And then I proceeded to go because I was in high school and I was the new kid and awkward, and I had braces. And I would go to Kurtwood's place every Friday and go to the set and just go see the 70 show. It was like my refuge. It was like a place I would go to escape, and I would just hang out on the set there. And it inspired me to want to be an actor and all that. But I knew all those people, sort of. I mean, I was a kid and I was very shy and intimidated, but I knew the whole cast, and I saw many tapings of that show.
What was
Live.
RoboCop like in person?
Dude, he's the best, man. Kurtwood's great. He's great. I hope he comes to my wedding.
RoboCop.
RoboCop.
Because
You
he
know
was
what's funny?
in RoboCop.
You know what's funny though? I'd never seen RoboCop at that time, and I watched it with him. He plays Clarence Boddicker in RoboCop. We watched it together in his house on his Laserdisc version of RoboCop.
Awesome.
So that's my RoboCop experience with Clarence Boddicker himself.
Oh, wait. There's the screen share. There it is. It opens up another window. That's the secret. That's why it wasn't working. I was going to try to show everybody Passions.
Go for it.
Great TV show starring Benny Wills.
Classic.
Let's see if this works now. Passions. What was so here is you in a crib, I think. Screen share.
Oh my gosh. I'm definitely not in that screenshot, but looks likely that I'll be in the next scene. That's me in the stroller.
Yes. All right. No, anyway, that was dumb. Now my computer's freezing up because I got too many windows open. So
that does look like no, that is Passions for sure, because that's the witch.
It is Passions because I Googled you and Passions.
No way. There's no way I would come up in a Google search like that.
Well, no, because remember I had a friend who dug you up.
Oh, right.
Episode.
And then he sent me that clip. Yep. You guys both sent me that clip.
Right.
I was shocked because I hadn't seen that since it came out, and so the fact that it exists and that someone was able to find it. If someone could find, I was on an episode of Days of Our Lives when I was a kid, and you can find that. I would love to see it because I've never seen it. I was on a Christmas episode of Days of Our Lives in 1993, I think, and I played Joey the orphan. If you can find that episode, I will be so pleased.
Well, it's not letting me close the window, so Google is not my friend today.
It's starting to rain here. I'm gonna have to go inside.
Are we back? The share window froze. I don't know what the deal was there. And then the share window froze, and then everything had to shut down and restart. Hopefully this is not a new stream. Benny, are you there? Am I back? I think I'll have to just bring Benny back in because that share window froze and then it kind of froze everything. Okay. Yeah, don't worry, I'll bring Benny back in. Now I've had the time of my life, and I've never felt this way before. Never felt. Yes, I swear it's so true, and I'm owing it all to you. Da 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 da. Stand by me. Thank you. It is a badass hat. We'll get Benny back in here in a second. Yo. He may still be talking, thinking that the other one is still active. We'll see. He also said he had to move inside because it was starting to rain. So, but yeah, Kurtwood Smith was in RoboCop. If you didn't know that, remember the movie RoboCop? I think the reason everything froze actually was because I had that stupid Daily Mail page open, which has 16 zillion pop-ups and videos that try to play all at once.
All right.
Yeah, sorry about that. When I tried to screen share that, everything froze because I have the Daily Mail open, and the Daily Mail has 16,000 pop-ups and videos that it tries to play all at once.
Gotcha. Well, give me a moment to come inside because it's starting to rain out there anyway.
Right. Perfect timing for a screw up. And
dude,
so
you know what just happened to me though?
What happened to you?
I was on a deck and my mouse dropped, and the part that holds the battery in fell right through the crack of the deck, and it's gone forever. So now this mouse is defunct. Yeah, I just watched it like slide right through the crack and
squeak squeak
disappear from my life.
Squeak squeak.
That's a shame.
So we were talking about Kurtwood Smith and RoboCop and that 70s show, and you got to sit on his lap and watch RoboCop on Laserdisc.
No, never sat on his lap.
I didn't mean that in a nasty, dirty way. I'm not trying to talk evil of Kurtwood Smith. I'm sure he is a great dude.
He's a great dude. I will vouch for Kurtwood as being a great dude.
Can you tell us the other famous people that you've met or not? Are you allowed to do that?
Sure. Yeah, of course I can.
You met Ashton Kutcher, correct?
I did. Yeah, I met the whole cast of that show. And again, it was right before they got really famous. So I don't know what they'd be like now, but back then they were all cool. The coolest ones were Topher Grace and Wilmer Valderrama. They were really nice people. Wilmer in particular it was his first job. He was so happy to be on set and so happy to be working. He was so polite and so gracious. He set a good example of how to be like a good person and to be professional on that set. I don't know. Again, I don't know what he's like now. I don't know what these people get up to in their private time or what's happened in the last 20 years. But 20 years ago, when they were new to fame, they were all kind and definitely nice to me. So
Jamie got to sleep in Topher Grace's bed.
Is that a real story?
Yeah. No joke.
What do you mean?
She did not sleep with Topher Grace.
Yeah. Okay.
He was out of town, and they were with Dan Fogler because of a spot. There's a scene with Jamie's ex Freeman in Don Peyote. Anyway, Freeman's in that for like a minute, and so they went on tour with Dan Fogler, and they stayed at Topher Grace's house, and everybody says he's a cool guy. So
yeah, he was great. He was nice, and Mila Kunis was really nice too.
Really?
For what it's worth. Yeah, she was also my age, so we were both 15. We used to actually. She was cool. She used to. We used to talk on AIM, Instant Messenger.
Woo. Somebody in the chat says, "Give the redheaded girl's phone number to me." And yes, Benny said after the show he will give you all of the actors, A-list actors' personal phone numbers. Yes, and their AOL, Yahoo Messenger chat data, so you can send Mila your pee pictures, as I'm sure you want to do. That's a joke. We're not being serious. We're not being serious. You're not going to get Mila Kunis's AOL Instant Messenger info, nerds. Shut up.
I'm definitely not going to give that out. Not that it's even active anymore, but
I was going to say, like, I tried to invite Mila Kunis into a Yahoo
the connection. Chat, but she connection's really choppy. Is it choppy on your end?
A little bit. So you're saying that you couldn't get Mila Kunis into a Yahoo Messenger chat anymore?
I don't think I have any pull. I think it's been too long. This was 20 years ago.
Yahoo Messenger chat doesn't work. It doesn't exist anymore.
The internet used to be so much about AIM for me, and now it's no longer part of my life at all.
All right, so moving on. Next question I want to know: how did you come up with the idea of stand-up poetry? I've never heard of this, and you were the first person I saw to do this. Where did that idea come from?
Yeah. Well, first, let me make sure that is the connection still stable, because you're a bit choppy. But if I'm not choppy, then we're good.
You seem good to me.
Okay, cool. Just making sure. I'm a little farther away from the router now, and you know how that works. But yeah. So stand-up poetry is a term that I've coined. It's my own self-described title. I stumbled into it. I've been writing poetry since I was a kid, and that was mainly because I was a bad student. I would write little rhyming couplets to distract myself while not paying attention in class all throughout school. And I never really thought twice about it being anything I could do outside of just that.
You're the kid from ET, right? Elliot?
No, I'm not. I'm too young for that.
I know. I'm joking. Elliot's like a business.
Henry Thomas, right? Is that his name?
Exactly. But no, stand-up poetry. This is You coined it. That's why I've never heard of it. You coined it.
Well, I used to get. when I would read poetry as a teenager, I would get encouragement from people. People always really seemed to like it. And then when I was on the other, after I went to Spain in 2016 and had a pretty, eye-opening experience about my life and stuff, I thought I need something else to. It's just mine.
You did ayahuasca at the tomb of the Torquemada, the Spanish Inquisition.
I got invited to do ayahuasca while I was in Spain, and I turned it down. But I have done ayahuasca in the past. I did it before that. Anyway, I had met a girl in 2015 who was she's actually a kind of a quasi-celebrity, you could say. And she ended up ghosting me after a couple weeks, and it was really heartbreaking to the point of absurdity.
Can you say who or not?
I don't know. I don't think it's. No, I think I'll.
Dude. You know who it is?
Not Kate. Nope, not Kate Blanchett. I've had
Whoopi Goldberg.
She's Colombian. That's the only clue I'll give. She's Colombian.
Jennifer Lopez.
Nope, she's not Jenny from the Block.
Selena Gomez. Rihanna.
Nope. No one that famous. No one that famous. She would like to be that famous.
AOC.
It's AOC. When she was a struggling actress before she got hired for her
Shakira.
Yeah. So I was so heartbroken over this girl that I became. I was like, I couldn't stop replaying in my head, like what went wrong. 2015.
I got ghosted by a CD tier girl in 2016 too.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
It was awful. Yeah. So it sucked, and I was so hung up on it for a couple of months that I was laughing at myself and how absurd it was that I was so like stuck in this thought loop that I needed.
What tier was she? Was she like an A, B tier?
As far as like A list?
Yeah.
Um, well, it's difficult because I think she's on a series now that I didn't even know until I showed a friend her picture recently, and they're like, "Oh, that's so and so from so and so," and I was like, "Oh, okay." She's definitely working. She's like becoming a TV star, and I
Okay.
guess she's probably so that means what B, C, because C. I feel like when you get below B, then it's like has-beens and people who were famous, and she's still on the up and up. Um, for what that's worth. Uh, so I was so hung up on this that I was in a lot of pain, and I knew I knew I had to get over it. So I was like, I need something to distract myself with and redirect my energy. So I wrote a poem. At first, I went and I went to the library and got out some poetry books and just like got myself into the mindset of poetry. I got a Shel Silverstein book and a Edgar Allan Poe because I always loved them
Always
both
good,
when I
yeah.
was growing up. And I started writing a poem, and it was the perfect outlet. So it was a creative outlet, and the poem wasn't anything to do with heartache or losing love or anything. And it's actually called Bill Lost His Memory, which is a video I have on my channel. And I wrote this poem, and when I was done, I was like, this is pretty good. I feel pretty good about this. I want to now share this with someone or some people and just see how it goes over. And so for about a year, I had this one poem that I would perform any chance I got around anybody who would listen. And I got great feedback over and over again. So it gave me the confidence to do it more. But then at that point, I was like, well, do I even have can I even write another one? I guess it's like the artist dilemma. You do something, you're like, I don't know if I can replicate this. So it took about a year to get the confidence in myself and get the reinforcements I guess I needed to feel good and confident moving forward. And then I started writing more. And then I made a commitment to myself to just always have to write one poem a month is my loose commitment to myself. And I've been doing that now for a couple of years, and it works out really well. It's a great because I feel like I made the past mistake of overcommitting to something up front and saying, I'm going to write something every single day. And when I make those kinds of commitments to myself, I fail almost immediately because it's too much to keep up with. It's as an idea, it's like, oh, I can do that. And then day after day goes by and you're like, oh man, this is actually a little too much. And then I let it go completely. So by giving myself that loose just once a month, I can definitely make time once a month for a couple of days, a couple of hours out of a couple of days a month to make sure I keep up with this commitment. And it's been the best thing I could have done for myself creatively and with discipline. And yeah, I just started stepping into it. And then I performed at the Anarchapulco conference 2 years ago after I had some poems under my belt, but no one knew that I was going to perform. I got invited to speak there, and I thought, well, there's so many people there speaking, and I've never given a PowerPoint presentation in my life. I still wouldn't even know how to put one together. And so many people are experts on topics, and they can talk about stuff, but I'm a performer. I mean, I spent 20 years honing my craft as a performer. So I'm just going to use my 40-minute speaking slot to perform and not tell anybody. And if I flop, I flop. What's the worst that could happen? I don't go back to Anarchapulco. I get booed off the stage. I still have an amazing girlfriend. I have family and friends who love me. That's not going to change. So screw it. Let's just take a risk and see what happens. And I did it. And I got 3 standing ovations in my 40 minutes on stage. And so that was about, that was the perfect validation I needed. I was like, okay, this is the right thing to step into. And so since then, it's just really unfolded. And I've now performed. I mean, I'm traveling and performing all the time now, which is awesome. And then I finally just recently thought, you know what, now it's time to make it official, away from Joy Camp, start the new channel that's just me. That's a hub for my poetry, and as well as some other things. Like I want to start doing what you're doing, and I've dabbled with the live streams on the Joy Camp channel in the last few weeks, and it's been really great. So, well, the new channel has birthed from this.
We will promote the channel. The channel is in the description now, by the way. So if you guys would go ahead and subscribe to Benny's new channel, which is Benny's own personal channel. By the way, so someone in the chat claims to know what your personal drama with this chick was, and I'm gonna ask you. Don't worry, it's not gonna reveal anything. But They say that Bridget Nielsen left Flavor Flav for you, and then just you to go back to Flavor Flav. Is that true?
Oh, you got me. You got me. It was Bridget.
Okay, and the asshole who
Love those
said
older
this
women.
was Jay Dyer. Oh, that was me. Just kidding. Were you sleeping with Celine Dion? Is that it? Who it was?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't deal with possessed demons.
And it wasn't Ricky Martin, right?
Nope. I'm not gay.
I'm just joking. Shake your bonbon, shake your bonbon, shake your bonbon, shake your bonbon. Remember that Ricky Martin song?
There was one Ricky Martin song that I did like. I'm not gonna lie. It was
Living La Vida Loco or Shake Your Bonbon?
no. Not neither one of those two.
The slow one.
She bangs. I did like the song. She bangs.
She bangs.
Yeah.
She moved. Yeah.
I like it. There, truth comes out. I like that song.
And no, I wasn't. We just make dumb jokes, man. Don't take it personal. There's no hating on Benny. We are big Benny supporters. Benny and the Jets.
I'm hard to offend. I'm never not today anyway. I'm hard to offend, so don't worry about that.
So and then you met Jacko. Can you tell that story?
Sure. Yeah, I did meet Jacko. Well, in 1991, I was in the Los Angeles Children's Chorus in LA, and in this chorus, we would audition for anything that needed a group of kids singing. And that's actually how I got into the Screen Actors Guild. That's how I got started in the acting.
Oh, you were actually in SGA.
I've been in SAG.
Yeah,
I've been in SAG since 1991.
Oh, wow.
So I was the youngest person. I was the youngest kid in the chorus, and first job we had was singing in the Addams Family movie. I'm in that, so you can, if there's a scene in the Addams Family movie, the first one, not one where they go to camp, where Pugsley and Wednesday are in the talent show and they're doing I think it's a scene from Macbeth. I'm almost positive. They're doing a Shakespearean scene where they end up like cutting off each other's arms and there's bleeding all over the stage, and everyone in the audience gets sprayed with blood. And right before,
who you said?
I sat with Christina Ricci in the on-set school.
You also met her forehead too, which is
a whole separate entity. Yeah. So we So right before that scene, there's a bunch of kids on stage. They're dressed as flowers and elves, and we're singing the song "Getting to Know You." And I'm like third from the left on the bottom row of kids.
Awesome.
So that was the first job. So then, right after that, we auditioned for the Academy Awards, and it was the 63rd annual Academy Awards, and we got hired to sing the song "Somewhere in My Memory," which was the Oscar-nominated song that year from Home Alone. And if anybody can find this, like I've searched for this before, so if anybody can find this, it's the 63rd annual Academy Awards. We're singing "Somewhere in My Memory." There's a close-up of my 7-year-old face in it. Like, I'd love to see it. If anybody can find this, I'm sure it's in the archives of the Academy Awards. Find it, show it to me. I'd love to see it. But anyway, we all come out of this giant Christmas gift, and we walk out, and we're all holding candles, and we sing the song, and they get a close-up of all of us. And so, just give you an idea of how the Oscars work. So we were there backstage, which for that, I think it was the Dorothy Chandler Pavilion. We were underneath the stage. There was no wings. We were just underneath it. And they didn't give us seats to see the show, so we had to sit under the stage for the entire show waiting to go on. And then once we were done, we had to leave and go back home. So backstage, a lot of people were walking by, like presenters and whatnot. And so we met Billy Crystal, we met Bob Hope, we met Tom Hanks, met Michael Jackson, had a really terrifying encounter with Madonna. And it may have been it, actually, as far as the celebrities that we met backstage. But yeah, so I met Michael Jackson. He came over to us, group of kids, and started talking to us. And, I was 7 years old, and I didn't really know much about Michael Jackson, but the person that he was, that I met, was very scary. Like, I'd never seen anybody who looked like him before. So while all the other kids in the chorus were like excited to meet him, I recoiled. I didn't want anything to do with this guy. I was like, Not for me. He was just weird looking. He was really strange looking, and I didn't want to meet him. And then the really funny part was Madonna. Well, maybe a little more context to this. There was a book that was released sometime in the last 10 or 15 years, and it was like 7 or 80 years of Oscars or 75 years of backstage stories, like stuff you don't know that went on behind the scenes, drama behind the scenes. And one of them, and in the little blurb about the book, it said, including in 1991 when Madonna went on a verbal rampage in front of her, in front of a group of children. And I was like, oh my gosh, I was one of those kids. She was singing the song from Dick Tracy, which is also nominated for an Oscar that year. And they raised her up to the stage from a trap door, and she went up to the stage, and we were all sitting there, and she was going crazy and yelling at everybody. And we were just like sitting over in the corner, and someone told her, like, Madonna, there's kids over there. And she was like, I don't give up about those kids. We were just like, it was a very scary experience. So that was my only impression ever of
Someone
Madonna.
says her milkers actually are that cone pointy. Is that true or not?
I think that's true. Yeah, that's accurate.
That is true. So people are asking that. Someone said that you're the Forrest Gump of Hollywood pedo stuff because you wandered through it and it didn't get you, which is thank God.
Thank God. Yeah. And I think, like I said before, had I worked more, who knows what would have happened. And we luckily left the business when I was 10 years old. So it was right when I was starting to work more. Like that year in particular, it was starting to pick up. I did Days of Our Lives. I was on 2 episodes of In Living Color, and I was auditioning all the time, getting called back a lot. And then I was out of there, and I was really sad that we left. And looking back now, boy, am I glad it didn't work out. And I'm also really glad that I didn't have much of an adult career there, so that it was easier to walk away. And that business, I was even making a joke last night, like, there's this word shill gets thrown around a lot. You really are shills, like 100% shills. Anyone from Hollywood, like Hollywood actors, Hollywood writers, Hollywood is full of shills. They are shills. It's like Shillywood. So there's some obvious shills or actors. But yeah, I'm really just glad to be out of there. I've never been happier in my life now that I'm not in Los Angeles and not in California.
Did you ever have an experience where you ran into somebody or saw something in that scene that shook you, or did you just completely kind of wander through and not?
Oh, hold on. Oh, the dog's barking. Hold on. So, ask me the question again.
During that time period when you were active, and then when you, in the more recent times, went back and was trying to make Joy Camp, kind of a thing, you were working as an actor. Did you experience anything that shook you, or did you just kind of avoid all of that?
No, I didn't.
Never saw anything bad or crazy, or you didn't get invited to a Housewives Up party?
No, I did. Sort of. I met a guy actually at an ayahuasca ceremony who went to Hollywood parties, and he said they like would wear masks, and there was naked girls dancing behind glass facades. And if I ever wanted to go, let him know. And I never talked to the guy again. But that was the only time I ever got someone. But you hear things.
Yeah.
But I never firsthand experienced anything bad. I mean, I would wonder sometimes. I'd be on set because I did quite a few commercials in my 8 years there, and knowing what I know about symbolism, if you see like an owl or something on a set, I wonder, like, who put that there? Like, who here put that owl on set, or if it's a checkerboard floor? Yeah, so those kind of questions. But no, I mean, everybody from at least the commercial world that I work with is just doing their function and making a commercial, and we're the actors just selling ourselves out to make a buck for some corporation that we shouldn't be doing that for. But
yeah.
It took me a while to get out of there.
What's the biggest crowd you've ever performed for?
Doing the poetry?
Yeah.
Probably the Acapulco crowd because there's a few thousand people in attendance. So
That's
probably.
online?
What's that?
Is that online? Can I put that in the
Yeah,
show
you can check
description?
out. You can check out. I actually no, you can't because I just took it. I just made it private 2 days ago because I'm taking taking the long version of my set from last year and breaking it up into individual pieces. So it was public, but my performance was called "Creation of Care," and I did it at Acapulco. Then I did the same set plus a couple extra poems at the AV9 conference.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was there for that.
You were. That was great. We had a good time.
We did. So now, how do you just want to direct people to your stuff, or could you do a little bit of stuff on the spot? Is that if you don't feel like doing it, that's cool.
I can do something on the spot.
So
Sure.
we have people in the chat saying, tell Benny to do something. What's he do?
Sure. Anything in particular?
Whatever's come to mind. What's one of your favorite pieces that you do?
Well, I like all of them.
Well, but you do, right? But some of them are, I don't want you to have to launch into like a 10-minute routine, but I mean, some of the pieces are fairly short. You do.
All right, I'll see if I can do an
alliteration.
I'll do a really short one that I haven't done in a very long time. So if I screw it up, I apologize. Then you can watch the video. So this is one of the first ones I ever wrote, and it's called I'm a.
Yes, this one's good. I like this one.
All right, cool. But I haven't done it in a while, so here we go. I'm a conspiracy theorist, a radical extremist, a paranoid, ridiculous, delusional idealist. I'm a ludicrous anarchist. I'm a pessimistic communist. I'm a woo-woo, hippy-dippy, foil hat enthusiast. Oh man, I'm sorry. I'm distracted. I just got distracted. Foil hat enthusiast. I'm an airy-fairy truther. I'm a curly-headed loser. I'm a tripped-out, bleeding heart cannabis abuser. I'm a pathetic, apathetic, freeloading non-voter. I'm an empathetic, sympathetic, tree-hugging peace promoter. I'm certified organic. I'm hopelessly, endlessly romantic. I'm enigmatic. I'm aloof. I'm charismatic. I'm a goof. I'm annoying. I'm a nuisance. I'm privileged, and I'm white. I'm a something SOB, and I don't lean left or right. I'm anti-war, anti-government, anti-fear, anti-money, pro-love, probiotic, pro-fun, pro-funny. I'm awake, I'm aware, I'm unshackled, and I'm free. I am man, I am beautiful. I'm a you, and you're another me. Boy, I have not butchered a poem that bad in a long time, but I got a dog barking and people coming in and out. So I could do it. I could probably do another one better.
If you want to.
Sure. All right.
That was good.
This one I just put on my channel. This one actually goes over really well with people usually when I do it. It's about racism. Everyone's favorite topic, racism. Racism is not systemic. It's not genetic or endemic. It's really not the problem, although it is problematic. Problem is it's nourished, endorsed, engineered, and encouraged in our society that's fractured, run by maniacs and bastards, dollar signs and bankers, politics and wankers. They want us fighting each other, blaming, hating, and shaming each other. So we're always looking laterally, horizontally, instead of up the ladder accurately. Divide and conquer is the method. It's the oldest trick in the books, distracting us by blaming us while they get off the hook. White cops versus black men, just a clever misdirection. The police state versus everyone, and a war for your perception. Furthermore, let's explore American economics. Debt-based indentured servitude disguised as patriotic. The money monster taunts us and haunts us like a ghost. Drip drop like an IV drip, because without any, you're toast. Maximize the profit, minimize opportunity, advertise the hell out of it, polarize common unity. Racism is real, without a doubt, not pretending like it ain't. It's a scary thing that's taught to us and teaches us to hate. The media embraces it, regurgitates and celebrates it, and politicians use it, accuse it, and abuse it over and over and time again. Same shit on a different day, battered, broken, and paranoid, while our freedoms slip away. But hey, I'll love you no matter what, regardless of your race. I'll double down, I'll say it again, and reiterate just in case. I love you. I love you. I love you. Doesn't matter the color of your skin. I love you. I love you. I love you. What matters is what is within. Don't hate. Be great. And invert the golden rule. Don't do to others black, white, brown, green, purple, or polka dot as you would prefer them not do to you. There it is. It's called Race War. Thanks.
That's cool.
Thanks. Yeah, you can find it on my channel. That one always goes over really well with crowds, I find.
Yeah. This is honest question, not being a fake douchebag question. Do you study beats in the sense of like beat poetry and like rhyming stanzas and all that, or is it just kind of like you just sit down and write? You know what I'm saying? Is it formal poetry? Is I guess what I'm trying to say, with the right rhythm and stanzas, or is it just straight up like improv kind of spoken word stuff? I really don't know. I'm not.
I think it's kind of both. I mean, okay. It's just my own. It's just my own style. Like I hear it in my head, and then I write it out. And I always, as a performer who appreciates good performance, I like it when things sound good. So I like a sort of a melodic approach. I like rhyming poetry, and I like being able to take an audience on a journey through that sort of, melodically pleasing rhyme scheme. But I'm also not. I don't get stuck in any particular, rhyme formation. You know what I mean? I just let it just come. Whatever wants to come out, I write it. And then I find it really well.
Kind of different schools, I guess, of poetry where there's different modes of it. And I was just trying to ask, have you any studied on a formal level, or is it just straight up? I'm not criticizing. I'm just asking, is it straight up putting it out?
Well, I'm a fan of poetry, so I read a lot of poetry, and I've always been a fan. And then I just, write it in the way that makes sense and feels good and sounds good.
Cool. Yeah, that's a topic I don't know much about poetry, so I'm just curious. Yeah. How many poems do you have now?
Oh gosh, dozens.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, over 30 at this point.
That's awesome that you have such a powerful recollection.
Yeah, well, I butchered that first one. I apologize.
That's okay. No, it's still been a while. You blow me away. Can you do one more, or I don't want to push you, but
sure. I can do one more. Any particular topic or anything?
What's one that you think is particularly funny?
Funny. Well, I feel like they all have a hint of humor in them, even ones that are deadly serious.
What's the most ridiculous, absurd one?
I have one called "Poetry is Dead," because I like to. I also, but I'm kind of saving that one for its world premiere because it's not online yet. But I do it in front of crowds, and it goes over really well because I think I speak to that part and everybody that doesn't like poetry.
Are you going to put out a book? People are asking.
Yes, I am. In fact, it's in the works right now.
Awesome.
I'm working with G. Edward Griffin. If anybody knows who that is, he's of the Creature from Jekyll Island fame. I just emceed for his Red Pill Expo in Connecticut, and he's a big fan of my work, and he has agreed to publish my poetry book, and I'm seeing him in Las Vegas this weekend. And we just emailed back and forth this morning, actually, to go and finalize the details on what we need in order to move forward with this book. So,
okay, so give us one more. It doesn't have to be goofy or silly. Just
all right. This one is solution based, because I find that there are so many problems, and we talk a lot about the problems, but talking about solutions is not as, doesn't seem as, we don't talk about the solutions as much as we talk about the problems.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that, like I mentioned earlier, how Hollywood 5 years ago would be more willing to look at a conspiracy-based TV show than they are now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a sign of the times. Like 10 years ago, people were much more, they were just more dismissive of people like me. But now they're saying like, how dare you? That's dangerous what you're saying and hateful. And I'm like, whoa, it's just perspective. And just because we don't share the same exact opinions doesn't mean that I'm this alt-right bigot, Nazi, a-hole that the media is trying to paint me as. So in the past year, I've dealt with some adversity as far as family and friends go. Like people are intolerant of some of the things I have to say. And it was pretty devastating because I've had some family members who don't want to talk to me anymore. And that really sucks because I love my family. And so I wrote this piece, and it's about solutions, and it's called Be Undeniable. Some people think I'm crazy. Some people think I'm dumb. Some people think I'm racist. Some people think I'm scum. I've been called a bigot. I've even been called a Nazi. I've been called a friggin' idiot and a stupid, brainwashed zombie. I tried to put my dukes up, tried my hand at fighting back. I tried to just ignore it by cutting them some slack. I added logic to my tool belt, loaded facts into my arsenal. I triple-checked my sources, and I cited every single article. But repeatedly, I got denied because I'm a kooky, alt-right, conspiracy kind of guy. In their eyes, of course, not mine. In their eyes, I saw myself. In their eyes, I saw their fear. In their eyes, I saw the lies they liked and were clutching to so dear. I saw that it was safe in there. I saw that it was comfortable in spite of their despair. Their chains were weighing heavy on their slouching, sloping shoulders, while they wrestled insecurity and a fear of growing older. They couldn't hear what I was saying, couldn't accept that they'd been duped. They instead preferred the television and acceptance from the group. My objective reasoning, therefore, simply fell upon deaf ears. I stood no chance at penetrating the programming that had been running them for years. And just like that, it hit me. I knew it must be done. A new approach entirely to empower me that would also be more fun. Be undeniable. Become undeniable. Sheep will sleep and cattle may battle, but my life could be undeniable. Walk your talk. Be undeniable. Set an example. Be undeniable. Steward the earth. Be undeniable. Be the best you and become undeniable. If the life you lead is exciting, your life will be undeniable. If you're successful in life and you're thriving, your life then becomes undeniable. If you're adding value and striving to make your life undeniable constantly, every day, always, in all ways, your life will be absolutely 100% undeniable. So don't be a crybaby. Be undeniable. Don't be a victim. Be undeniable. Don't be a sellout little bitch. Be the one. Be like Jesus. Be someone irrefutably, unequivocally, without any doubt, undeniable. That's what I do.
That's cool.
Yeah. Because then your life is undeniable and people can't, they can think you're crazy, but they can't, they can't say you're doing everything wrong because you're living a cool life and a good life.
Very cool. Somebody in the chat had a good idea and they said, would you be willing to do a battle rap with me?
A battle rap?
Yeah, like you get to diss me in battle raps, and then I'll make joke disses about you.
I've never done a battle rap, so I'd probably be terrible at it, I'd imagine.
Well, I haven't done it either, so mine will suck too. But you would probably beat me because you are trained in the poetics.
That's something I got to think about. Maybe we could schedule that for another day.
Like, yeah, like I don't know, make Afro jokes about you and call you Benny Willis.
Willis.
Hey, what are you talking about, Willis?
Will's not Willis. Can't emphasize that enough. All my life, it's been Willis. Even, oh my gosh, even when I emceed the Red Pill Expo a couple weeks ago, on the program, it said MC Benny Willis. That hurts. It hurts. Are there any other questions from your chat coming in I can answer? Or?
All right, guys, if you want to, now's the time. Throw up some super chats for the super chads. Dr. Q707 sends $25 and he says, I will buy lunch. Benny's poetry kills. Booyah. How you like that, Benny? Dr. Q.
Nice.
Private Death, $5. Your poetry is absolutely amazing. Thank you for sharing your art. Much love. That race war poem was fire.
Cool. Appreciate that.
I think it would be hilarious. Like you can, I don't mind being made fun of. I think it would be funny. Like you could do a bunch of verses, a rap battle, making fun of me, making fun of, I don't know, whatever. And I don't know. I think it'd be funny. The chat seems to think it would be cool, but
let's schedule it. Let's make an event out of it.
Okay, let's do that. And then everybody says, do a rap battle, epic rap battle, epic rap battle.
I'm not a rapper.
Yeah, but it's okay. We're not seriously going to be rapping.
You know who's actually really good at that?
Who?
Sonia, my fiance. She's really good at like, she's hilarious at making up songs on the spot that rhyme and are hilarious. I don't know how she does it. She's better at that than I am, for sure.
You could get her to, yeah, you guys could collab. Diss me or something.
Double team. Gang up on you.
Anybody have any more questions, super chats for Benny Wills and myself? Somebody says, Benny, what do you think about religion and Orthodox theology? In the chat.
Good question. You know, I actually have I'm doing a live stream with KJ tonight about this topic in particular, because I've definitely, well, I don't want to say this just right. Through my pursuit of truth, my only allegiance is to the truth. I know that I perform at anarchist rallies and freedom rallies and all of that. I still don't feel comfortable giving myself any label. So while I identify with a lot of like the voluntarist principles, you know, and even some conservative values at this point, which is mind-blowing to me because I was born as a liberal, but I don't call myself any particular thing. I am really averse to having any labels applied to me. So that said, my allegiance is to the truth, and the truth has led me to a place where I am definitely seeing reality through a spiritual lens more than ever. And I am now comfortable calling what I used to call the universe God. And I've been reading parts of the Bible recently and trying to get my mind around and my heart around the idea of Jesus and what it represents, because what I see in the world is evil permeating through our culture and through all pillars of control. And it seems like it's not just people behind it. It seems even if they're being influenced by something, it's a spiritual, feels like a spiritual battle,
right? And
it's in everything all the time, and I can't help but see it that way. And so I've been exploring the idea of Jesus, because it wasn't until even recently I started going to church. Sonia and I started going to church last fall just to, you know, get a feel for it, and I really liked it. I really like going to church because every Sunday morning it's a hour-long seminar on ethics and morals, and I really like that. But it wasn't until we went to a Good Friday sermon that I had like a moment. I was like, whoa, okay, people really 100% believe that Jesus was sent here by God, and he was here to more or less tell people that God exists and show you how to live your life. And then he was crucified and took everyone's sins on his back, crucified, then was resurrected. And they really believed the story. And I had never really considered it as being that, like the guy, the pastor was saying, the Bible is not just chicken soup for the soul. It's not just about the lessons that are in it. It's the truth. And if Jesus didn't walk the earth, then what are we doing in here? And it was really profound for him to say that. And so I've really been, because I was in a place where I was going, yeah, I mean, Jesus is just a great role model, and that's great. And if that's all you get from it, that's cool. And now I'm thinking, well, maybe it is real. And I'm exploring the idea. So I'm now, it's kind of a long-winded answer, but it's because I'm seeking and I'm figuring it out. And I see people cry when they talk about Jesus, and it's a foreign feeling to me. So if I were to just say, I've accepted Jesus as my Lord and Savior right now, I would be lying, and I'd be doing it so that other people would see me say it and like accept me. I'm open to arriving at that place. Actually, I'm really open to arriving at that place, but I have to find it for myself. And so I'm now diving into the Bible. I just started reading John just the other night. And if, you know, because I'm at a place in my life where I definitely see this as a spiritual war. This is spiritual warfare. It's a battle between good and evil. And I'm on the side of good and truth and love. And if that is leading me to accepting Jesus into my heart, then I'm so open to it. I'm opening up the past, like the passages and the pathways for that to happen, and we'll see. So that's where I'm at. And I don't really have an opinion on orthodoxy. I'm going into all of it with an open mind, and I'm really curious about it all. And I want to be I'm already on the side of good and truth. And I mean, Sonia and I pray before every meal now. We express our gratitude and our thanks, and we to God for this gift of life. And so it's my spiritual journey has totally been invigorated in the last year in particular. And I grew up as an atheist, so it started with me realizing that atheism was just as dogmatic as any sort of theistic belief system. And then from there, I don't know, like I really started going in the rabbit hole when I kept a synchronicity journal. When I was in college, I kept a synchronicity journal because I was so blown away by coincidences in life and also in reality and stories. And the more I started tapping into synchronicity, it started feeling like it was my dialogue with the universe. And as I've gotten older, I've moved away from sort of like the woo-woo new age stuff, because I see that as being a big trap for critical thinking. I mean, not for critical thinking, but it's devoid of critical thinking. And now accepting the universe as God and feeling really comfortable saying God, because there is obviously something that created life, obviously. So I'm on my path, and this is where I'm at with this exact moment. I am trying to find Jesus. There we go. That's where I'm at.
That's cool. Definitely glad to hear that. So there's actually a movie version that I shared yesterday of the entire Gospel of John. The movie is just the text of the Gospel of John. It's pretty good. I put it in the chat there. Since you said you made me think of that, since you said you're reading the Gospel of John. It's a good place to start, and put that in the chat as well. And it actually has Desmond from Lost. But it's it's a pretty good production of the entire. And the reason I shared that one is because most of the time the Bible movies they're okay, but they chop it up and they kind of split. But this is actually a 3-hour just the text of the Gospel of John, so it's pretty good stuff. But you should check out a Orthodox liturgy sometime, or there's a good book by Seraphim Rose that I recommend. Either his book on nihilism or Orthodoxy and the Religion of the Future, where he kind of contrasts and critiques the New Age stuff, like what you were talking about. But glad to hear that. And also about Benny's show tonight. So everybody, I put that in the chat. It's also in the show description now. I add that as well. Benny will be talking to KJ tonight, our good friend. Get down, Chubbs.
Hey guys, KJ here. Get down, Chubbs. Get down, Chubbs.
Chubbs is KJ's cat, who is the co-host. That was my KJ impersonation. But
That's hilarious. That was good.
Benny, we'll be talking to. What time are you guys doing your show tonight?
We're doing it at 5 my time, so 7 Central, 8 East Coast.
7 Central, 8 Eastern. Okay. So if you guys want to, in a few hours, you can hop on over to KJ's channel. Good friend of ours, good friend of the channel. Definitely subscribe to Scariest Movie Ever. I think there's another super chat here. Let's see what they asked.
Okay.
Foregone, $5. Hey Benny, did you gradually come to the knowledge you have now, or was there a specific moment of realization? Jay, I picked up a book called Imperium. Wish me luck. Okay, if that's what I think. It's a difficult book, but a long book. I don't advocate everything in that book, but it is an interesting text. Did you come to this knowledge gradually, or was it a specific moment? He doesn't say which knowledge.
It's both, because it is a gradual. I mean, when I look back on especially the last like 16 years, when I really decided to investigate and seek truth, it's been a real gradual development, but highlighted by huge epiphanies and clarity. And I was just talking last night with Sonia. We watched this really great documentary. Have you heard of it, called The Red Pill?
Mm-hmm.
And it's about the feminist Cassie J, who went on to make a movie about the men's right movement, and then her whole world gets flipped upside down. And it's an amazing documentary. But when it was over, we were talking, and I started just going on one of my like thought trains, and I thought, if you think about it, one has to go down the rabbit hole in order to grow in life. You have to be willing to face truth, and truth can be uncomfortable, but truth is a series of just paradigms being shattered, one after another, shattering. It's like all these pillars that are built around us that we think are what's important or we think are real. We have to be willing to critically analyze these and be willing to let them go in order to move forward. So the rabbit hole is necessary for real human honest growth. And isn't it funny how the term truth seeker now is synonymous with conspiracy theorist? Like, it's right there in plain sight. They've tricked us. So truth seeker is a derogatory term, and it's the equivalent of conspiracy theorist, but that's what we are, truth seekers. And a truth seeker, that means you're on the path towards truth, and the path towards truth will break down all the paradigms and all the BS, all the belief systems, and then you grow, and it's necessary. So that was a huge realization for me last night, and even explaining it right now, I don't even know if it's as profound as it felt to me in the moment, but it's essential. And what I'm seeing is so many people that are good people getting stuck at certain places because they want to trust this system. They want to believe in this structure that's around them. And then, of course, now with the celebration of victimhood, and all that is giving you a wall to stand behind instead of moving through it. Like, if you get
oppression
stuck,
Olympics, gold medal.
Exactly. And we have to be able to, it's all in how you handle these moments. We've all been victims on some level at some point to varying degrees, and it's how you move past that problem, that obstacle, how you are able to overcome it, whether you knock it down, or you climb over it, or you sidestep it, or whatever you do to get around this obstacle in which you were a victim of. That's how you grow. Instead of being stuck behind and saying, this wall was placed in front of me and I don't like this wall, and whoever built it is a bad person and I'm going to blame you for it. Like, that means you're stuck. So this celebration of victimhood just is a celebration of being stuck in one place and blaming everybody for your problems rather than empowerment. And, we have to have an honest pursuit of truth and be willing to, like the New Age movement has us focusing on the positive and on the good and the love, and that's all great, but it's not balanced. You have to be willing to look at the darkness as well and accept the things that you might be being lied to by most people in power about what reality is, what's important. And unless you're doing that objectively, then you're not going to make much progress on the life path growth scale,
Exactly. Real quick, I will add too, for everybody who may not be familiar with orthodoxy, there is a great documentary. If you don't have time or the interest in reading many books on the topic, there is a great documentary that I'm going to share right now in the chat. And it's the documentary on the icon. It's pretty famous, pretty well known. Benny, I put that in your chat as well.
Cool.
And it goes into quite a bit of depth. It's about 3 hours, so it's definitely worth going through if you can make it through it. Pretty popular YouTube documentary called The Icon. You guys can watch that too there in the chat if you're new to the idea of orthodoxy. All right, well, we're coming up on the close here. I think we got a couple more super chats. Thank you guys. Let's see, somebody, Sarah, thank you, Sarah. She sends $1, much appreciated. Keen-eyed Joe sends 5 A's, and he says, don't stop being honest, bro. It is life-changing. Thank you for what you do, and may God richly bless you, Benny.
Ah, that's really sweet. I appreciate
No
that.
blessings for me, so I assume he wanted to curse me. He doesn't love me. Just wants blessings on Benny. No, I'm joking. Do you guys care about AOC's feelings? No. Luciferianism. The new age is Luciferianism dressed up to look pretty. Yes, it is. And there's a big
I agree.
Crowleyan element to the new age. Good point there. Born again. Yeah, and I've covered new age recently in a few videos. All right, so great chat. We've gone almost over, I don't know, an hour and 40 or so. Benny, thank you for coming. Sorry I was a little bit late. I was trying to get here, rushing to eat really quick.
It's okay. I forgive you.
I know you love me, Keen-eyed Joe. I was just making dumb jokes. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, all good, man. And I really appreciate coming on here and doing this. If anybody's in Las Vegas or near Las Vegas this weekend, I will be emceeing first ever Anarcho Vegas on Sunday. There's also a Saturday night speakeasy party for the freedom of
Benny.
Yeah.
Turn your camera off just so that it will cut down on the stream bandwidth so that we can hear what you're saying, because you're chopping a little bit. So just where it says camera, and then your voice should come in pretty clear, because I want people to hear your promotion. Okay, go ahead now. Say what you're
Okay. How's it now?
It's good.
Okay. I was going to say, yeah, so if you're in Las Vegas or somewhere in the region this weekend, I will be emceeing Anarcho Vegas, which should be a fun time. I'll be performing there. And J-Word Griffin, who I mentioned earlier, will also be there. And Saturday night, there's a party to help, I guess, raise awareness and raise money towards getting Ross Ulbricht out of jail, which is a really good thing. So if you're in town, hit me up.
Actually, we got people in the chat saying they're going to Anarcho Vegas, and they will see you there.
Oh, fantastic. And then go to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Benny Wills. Subscribe. It is really hard to get a channel off the ground.
It is
these days, and I've chose a very precarious time to do so. But hey, I feel like it's probably harder to censor poetry than it is most other things. So I'm going for it. So if you want to support me, subscribe. You can support me on Patreon, but you don't have to. Obviously, I'll still keep putting all this out there for free. But I'm going to try to be much more interactive with this, much more than I ever was with Joy Camp. So I want to be a beacon for people to feel safe and comfortable to express ideas and to talk and all of that. So reach out to me, like me on Facebook, follow me on Instagram, blah, blah, blah. Let's be friends.
Are you going to storm the hot topic at Area 51?
No, I'm not. I think that's ridiculous.
No, not storm Area 51. Are you going to storm the hot topic at Area 51?
Oh, well, probably not, because there's nothing for me at a Hot Topic store.
There are cool shirts and jeans and
I'm not a teenager with depression issues. Yeah, I'm not a 90s teenager.
No, I was.
I was. I do remember going to Hot Topic when I used to go to the mall, but even then, it wasn't my jam. I was never emo,
Right. All right, that was cool. Fun times. Everybody subscribe there to Benny's channel. It's in the show description. The link to KJ's show tonight with Benny is also in the show description. You can support Benny there at his channel and at his site, bennywills.com. Thank you guys for tonight's Super Chats. Fun show. You can get Jay's Analysis subscription for $4.95 a month, $60 a year. You can buy my book, Esoteric Hollywood 1 and 2, signed copies at the shop at Jay's Analysis. You can support me on Patreon. So sign up for tutoring. I do tutoring in philosophy. If you guys like the sizzle reel that we did, me and Carl Wood and Isaac and Jamie, the production company has now said we can share publicly to see if we can get some support to get our show purchased. Then I think Carl Wood posted it. I can get Carl Wood's copy of that. Did you by chance see it, Benny?
I did see it, and I really liked it. And I reached out to Greg because I think it's actually kind of ridiculous that he's never had me on as a guest in his show.
Oh,
and I've been trying to get into that, get onto his show for years now.
really?
So I wrote to him, and because we've hung out before, and I'm friends with so many of his guests. I just feel like I'd be perfect on the show, and for some reason, Mr. Carlwood just will not write me back. So hopefully,
maybe Carl Wood will change his mind, have you on. There is the show in the link, by the way. If you guys want to, you can take a look at that, share that. That was our show that didn't get bought. Maybe if there's enough interest, somebody will buy it or something. But
I would totally watch that show.
Cool beans. All right. Thank you, guys. God bless. Have a good night, and enjoy Benny's work at his site and over at KJ's channel tonight. Benny, thank you.
Thank you, Jay.
Yeah, man. Have a good night.
You too.